Okay, so this is June 24th, 2023. This is part 2 of my tub log, the late June update. Um, so this is my Aphanius Mento tub, um, and the larger one. And seems like the algae is starting to stabilize a bit. It's not going totally crazy. I've thrown in some water lettuce to give more cover and habitat for the fry and egg laying area, although there's with all this algae. Mento prefer laying their eggs in filamentous algae. But I am happy because I don't know if you can see it. And there are a couple of those medaka um, Satan gold crosses that somehow got in here, but I've got several good-sized Aphanius Mento fry that are hanging out in here, like definite Aphanius Mento fry. Um, and yeah, so they're producing, which is good. One of my favorite species, like easily, if you're asking me top 3 fish species, like if you only keep 3, Aphanius Mento would be one of them. So yeah, they're producing. It's good. Plant-wise, just to update on the plants, water celery. I had it in 2021. Was really thought it was a good plant in 2021. Couldn't find, like, locally they didn't. I couldn't find it in 2022. So I actually ordered it online this year, and yeah, I think this plant is now going to be a um, permanent part of my tub program. Like one of my standby plants, like creeping Jenny and water lettuce. It's just such a good plant. Um, Grows extremely fast, pretty resistant to algae. Just a really great emergent. This guy's starting to do it, but it'll actually, like you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but this guy, it'll actually start growing out of the pot and forming a mat. So like the pot actually ends like there. So this right here, that is just growing out into the open water, and it'll form basically a floating mat. So yeah, really great pond plant. Um, this water bluebell seems like they're doing okay, but they're not going crazy. Um, Chameleon plant is, I thought it was going to be like a trailing plant like Creeping Jenny, and it's not. But you know, I'm going to try to at least overwinter a couple of these. They are starting to put out some blooms. The flowers, like here's an actual, in this Satan tub, you can see here's one of the actual flowers right there, and it's not they're not particularly impressive, but you know, it's nice to see stuff blooming. This papyrus, it's going to be interesting to see. I got it. It was very small. And I've done papyrus before, and it gets absolutely huge and obnoxious. You know, like stems that are over an inch wide. And this one I can start to see it's making some thicker stems, but I'm hoping this variety stays more reasonable. And my lily is doing good. As you can see, it's put on some significant growth, and I've got more um, little twister Juncus rushes to pull and repot. So like I've got some here, like that plant right there was the size of that little guy when I pulled it. So yeah, that's an ongoing project. And yeah, here's just another look at the fry again, if you can see them. Yes. So yeah, one of my favorite species. Um, the Hikari tub. I really do enjoy these Hikaris, well, and I guess they're gold cross that I'm breeding back to them to create more Hikaris, because they like to be up at the surface, and they're visible, which a lot of fish are not. So, yeah, highly recommend. Um, and I am getting some fry in this tub. Not as many as I'd like, not as many as I'd expect, and I think that's because I've been pulling the algae, and I've probably been pulling the eggs with the algae. But I think hopefully the algae will start to get under control here, and then we can really ramp up production. Once I start seeing lots of fry in this tub, then I'll start pulling water lettuce and putting it in the other tub. Plant-wise, these blue rushes suck. I'm not using them again. They're just not worth it. I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to go back to using the soft rush, particularly the twister ones, since it seems to be just more robust, and then try to find, what is that plant? Typha minima, because I really like Typha minima, but it's evidently must be really popular because even like the online sellers are often out of it. But yeah, this is like I was saying before, of propagating the juncus, the twister juncus. This is another little seedling that came out of you know, a volunteer that sprouted in that lily tub, and you know, again, it was that little. When I took it out, it was a little tiny size, and look how big it's gotten. So, oh, and look at the, oh, sorry, the medakas were just right here, but here they are now. Just a favorite fish, and you can kind of see that's one of those is well, now they're in a group, but I've got the females are the standard fin type, and the males are Hikari. So these fry, though, I've been kind of looking at them closely, and I am seeing that some of them definitely have the Hikari type finnage, which is what I'm going for, which makes me very happy. So definitely keeping that line going. Oh, and this pot, I went and collected some horsetail, some equisetum, and I only took like 3 stems. 2 of them didn't go, but now I'm seeing this stem is starting to throw off. I see at least one runner that's coming up out of the substrate next to it. I don't know if you can see that there. It's right, like right there. There's a second runner. And I did this in 2021. I tried doing this as well, and I was using a much smaller pot, and by the end of the season it filled the pot. So I'm hoping that this guy will go and fill this pot, and maybe I can overwinter it. And oh yeah, these guys are coming back around. Maybe if I don't move too much, they will let you see them. Those are 2 females that are non-Hikari, and then that guy that's in the middle of the screen right now, that is a Hikari male. If you look at his tail, you can see that beautiful Hikari diamond tail. Just I'm really liking these Hikaris, this Hikari strain. I know that it can have some difficulties with bent backs and such, so I'm going to be carefully going through the offspring that are produced to only select the best to continue the breeding project. Okay, so this is my Miyuki tub. I put in this big orange mint plant, which is really, really impressive, and I like how it's kind of turned purple in the sunlight. It was green when I got it, but putting it in the sun, within a week it turned this kind of bronzy purple. And it's just grown really well. It's throwing down aerial roots, which, well, actually, before I get into that, you can see some of the Miyukis here up at the surface. There's a couple doing their thing. But yeah, this is this. Oh, and there's a little fry that you probably can't see hanging around right there. Maybe you can see him. But yeah, so I've been doing these mint plants, and I've been experimenting with these hang on the side homemade planters. It's just like a little pot that you get a plant in that I put some craft wire, aluminum craft wire in, and then hang it off the side. And I actually like them quite a lot. And I've also I've kept mint a couple of years, but I never have grown it, like intentionally letting it get in the water. And I think mint is again going to be another essential plant for my tubbing, because much like creeping jenny, it'll grow in the water, and depending on the variety, it can throw down quite extensive aerial roots down into the water and create great habitat for fry. So this Miyuki tub, I was going to discontinue keeping my Miyuki line going, because Miyukis are very frustrating. You have to really cull them heavily to keep that Miyuki iridescence going. They tend to it tends to reduce over time. It's a trait that's really challenging to keep. And but last year I had some medakas that had more, like almost like some dark, like basically spots on them, and I bred them out, and I didn't think I got anything, but I threw some of those in the tub in this Miyuki tub because they had pretty good iridescence. And now, like this guy right here, which you probably can't see, but I'm seeing some of these guys have more of that dark patterning on them. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I might actually keep wearing this Miyuki line, but on a smaller scale, and try to create like a black and white mottled fish. Basically continuing off what I started last year. But I really didn't select for that this year, so we'll see what pops out of these offspring. But yeah, I've got, you can see there's 4 fish here, and I know I've got males and females. I put 7 fish in this tub. Obviously you can see 4 here. I don't know how many others are left. The problem with Miyukis is that because they're so flashy, it's really easy for predators to see them, so you tend to lose them. Like last year I lost almost all of my Miyuki stock, my adults, and then by the middle of the summer, and then most of these are actually offspring that I reared out from, that were left, that basically those adults had laid the eggs before before getting consumed. So this is the 110 gallon with the gold barbs. There's at least a couple of gold barbs still in here. I put in 5, and I've never seen all 5 at once. I've bred gold barbs several years ago. What was it, 2020 I bred them, and I'm hoping that to get them breeding for me again, but we'll see. Like I said, I've only seen this morning I saw 2. I've seen 3 together before, but I've not seen the full 5 in several weeks, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. And obviously plenty of algae going on in here. And then to finish off, here's the Iliodon tub. Obviously the algae really went to town. Actually there's some crocodile that were just swimming. So because the algae's gotten so thick, you're not really seeing a whole lot. I just occasionally see a flash at the edge of the algae of fish. But yeah, hoping that that we get, in the next month or so, we get some Iliodon offspring. And then yeah, this Thalia dealbata that I got, really liking this plant, very exotic looking, and yeah, I think I'm going to try to keep that over the winter. But yeah, that's the general update on the tub. The Phanius mento and the medakas are breeding, and then the rest of my my setups are, we'll see at this point. But this is always the time of year where you think, oh, nothing's gonna go, and then all of a sudden every tub has fry in it. So that's the hope. Anyway, catch you guys later.